Hey guys, as many of you know, based on our name, we have the Green Up Academy, which is your place to go for courses, community, and coaching in the landscape industry. But I wanted to specifically talk for just a minute about our crew program, which is our community groups here through the Academy, where you get Zoom calls, direct access to me, and a lot of community with other guys on how to grow your business. It's been absolutely transformational. We have so many great testimonies, so many guys who are just seeing leaps and bounds their businesses grow, and also the things that we can help them with. So we have a couple spots left that we'd love for you to consider. We'll give you your first month free if that helps you. Just use code GREENUP at checkout. And we will absolutely do that. Or if you DM us or email us, we'll certainly apply that. But we're starting our second group soon, so you don't want to miss those spots before they fill up. Check us out at the Green Up Academy and the crew. Thank you guys so much.
Welcome to the Green Up Academy podcast with Alex Kirby, where we focus on helping you level up your green industry business. Whether it's marketing, finance, employees, or strategy, we talk about everything on this show to help you apply it to your business and change your family and company's future for decades to come. Here's your host, Alex Kirby.
What's going on, guys? Alex Kirby here from Columbia, South Carolina, but more importantly, the Green Up Academy podcast, where we help you level up your green industry business, one podcast, one session, one topic at a time. Hope you guys are doing great wherever you're listening in America or the world. I just pray blessings over you and your family. Hope you're doing great. There's a lot going on lately, so there's no telling when you're listening to this or what, but over the last few weeks, we've had a presidential assassination attempt. We've had a president incumbent, drop out of the race. We've had crazy weather. We've had, oh man, what else? The MLB trade deadline, if you're a baseball fan, just a ton of stuff going on. And it doesn't stop, right? The grind doesn't stop. Today is, when I'm filming this, is the last day of July. So tomorrow is August, which is so crazy. I can't believe we're in the month of August. That kind of marks the kickoff of football season for a lot of us Southern people who love football, college football specifically. Football season, you've got, the weather's starting to, still hot for one more month, but, just the vibes are changing. You got a couple more months of growing season, so you're starting to prep for Christmas lights and snow, and this is crazy, man. It just changes so quick in this industry, and more importantly, we got Equip Expo coming up. So, we're going to announce here soon, guys, our event for Equip. We're going to be calling it the Green Up Gathering, and it's going to be awesome. So you're going to have a chance to sign up. There's only going to be 40 spots, limited spots. You're going to want to get that. Make sure you secure your spot there. And so that's going to be great. So looking forward to that. Let me kind of intro you guys what we're talking about today. In our crew call, which we had Monday, we were supposed to be talking about operations management, and I felt like the Lord, man, like 30 minutes before the call, like seriously, the Holy Spirit was like, hey, talk about cash flow management. And I had no idea why. But we get on the call, and we have about 10 guys on the call that night, and come to find out, several of the guys are really struggling with cash flow management, in money in the bank and all that stuff. So I felt like it was appropriate tonight, or for this episode, to talk about what is cash flow management, how do you address it, how do you prepare for it, forecasting your debt to revenue ratios, things like that. I think it would be super helpful to you guys, hopefully, to kind of let me teach you some of the tools and tips and tricks that I've acquired over the years, and the methods that we ran our company Trifecta on for so long. And now as someone who's talked to hundreds of you guys, I've got some really good data, and talked to Corey Ballard and a lot of smart people in the industry. And so just kind of want to talk about, how do you manage cash flow? Cash flow, right, is really, really difficult to manage at times in the green industry, because you got payment terms, you get people who pay slow. You've got, commercial places that pay net 60, net 45, and you start kind of being a bank for people, right? You've got to pay all your bills. You've got to pay your employees and your expenses and your insurances and your debt. But then people don't pay you. And so, at times, and then maybe you've overestimated how much business you're going to do. So you've got all these expenses and then the business isn't there. I've been reading a lot of people online. If you guys haven't joined our Landscapers Lounge Facebook group, I encourage you to do that. It's just a group for landscapers there. And, a lot of guys are saying, hey, things are starting to be pretty slow. I've had a slow couple months or a month, and leads aren't what they were. And so you've got all these expenses, and then the work's not as busy, so then you're really in trouble with cash flow. So I've got just a few tips and things to talk about there. And the first one is this. So I think a great rule of thumb is you need to have 6 to 8%. I really like 8, but 6 to 8% of your expected revenue. Excuse me, I had to take the headphones off. 6 to 8% of expected revenue in the bank at all times in cash reserves. So what do those numbers mean? Okay, Alex. Okay, if you do 100K, if you're expecting to do 100K for the year, that means you have 6 to 8,000. If you're expecting to do 200, it's 12 to 6, 12, double 16, 12,000, 16,000. Okay. The reason for that is I didn't make that number up. Usually that normally covers at least a month of expenses and payroll. And you really want to be at 2 months. So that's where the 8% jumps in. Because you have to cash flow so many things, you need those cash reserves, whether it be in your savings. And we're going to talk about accounts here in a second, but whether it be in savings, checking, payroll, checking, whatever the case may be, 6 to 8% is a really good rule of thumb. So $1 million company having $80,000 just in cash, just sitting there. And that's not, I said savings, but it's really not even savings. That's just operating cash and money. So marketing budget, payroll, all the bills coming out, all that stuff. So if you've ever wondered how much should I have, I like the 8% rule, 6% on the low end, but I really like to stick to 8. And if you can get to 10, man, fantastic. 10 would be insanely great. But yeah, 8% is what we go for. What I like to encourage you to have. And if you don't have that, you really, really need to figure out what's going on, because you're going to have a hard time cash flowing anything in your business. So let's go to okay, well, what kind of account should I have at the bank? So I get this question a lot. I like having this. I liked having a payroll only account. So the payroll comes out of this account. We transfer from our operating account to the payroll account. We keep, our payroll used to be about $15,000 a week. So we keep 3 times payroll in there, so $45,000. And once we pay payroll, we automatically send $15,000 over to always have 35, 45,000. Those are big numbers. So I'm saying just have 2 to 3 times your payroll amount in the payroll account. Okay, so that just sits there, and you automatically fill it back off out of your going to your second account, your operating expenses account. So that's any of your expenses in your business coming out of this account, whether that be marketing, gas, insurances, all that. You have this checking account where all your operating monies comes out of that account. I think that's really smart to do, especially for your bookkeeper and for your sanity. And you can go, okay, here's our expenses account, here's our payroll account, separating labor and expenses. Then I liked having a third account for personal business checking for the owner. And what I mean by that is I keep a couple $1,000s in there. When I personally go to lunch, I go to a conference, I do business coaching, I pay for a book. I liked having an account where I felt like I had a little bit of money to just my business choices as the owner for bettering my business or bettering myself. So those are the 3 checking accounts I really like to have at minimum for my company. And I recommend you guys as well. Then obviously the 4th one is business savings. So that's where you put your capital improvements funds. So for example, if you're like, man, a year from now, we're probably going to need another mower, another trailer, another truck, another crew, right? Then you start taking profits out of each month of the business and you start shifting it over. Even if it's $300, $400, $1,000, you start putting that in the business savings. You just want to put a percentage of the profits. I like the 5% because we try to be 20% net is the goal. When you have multiple employees or multiple crews, you start trying, 18, 20% net is the goal, I think, and should be the healthy goal. I know big companies, they go for 12 to 15% because their overhead's so high, but I like that 18 to 20% number. So you take 5% of that 18%, you roll into a business savings account for growth, future growth, and or replacing something that you might not have expected or whatever, upgrading something. So those are the 4 main accounts, guys. Some people will have like a tax account where they prepare their taxes in there. I knew what our taxes would be, so I just left it in the operating account. It didn't phase me, but I'm sure I probably should just had a tax account where we're putting the same type of moving money over for taxes. 20% of your net. So that's 1/5. So another 4%. Okay. But those are the main 4 accounts, guys. And I think that would really help you stay organized in your business when it comes to that. And then kind of the last thing I want to kind of hit on in this episode, I just want to hit you with these really good things to think on is, okay, another great question is, well, how much debt is too much debt on my company? Well, you guys know me. I really don't like debt on the company. I've softened on it just a hair in terms of one area, and that is credit cards if you pay them off weekly, and personal like real estate if you put 20% down. I think it's a great vehicle for investing, but that's personal. But those are like the only 2 things I'm not even comfortable with, semi like okay with. But if you want to do debt, and that's your decision, a good rule of thumb that I like to say is that 8 to 10% number that you have in cash is the amount of debt that you keep on the company. So if you had a $2 million company where we were close to, and you've got 120 grand in the bank account, then the only debt you have is up to $120,000 in total debt. So that'd be like, 3 trucks and 4 mowers or something like that, or one big piece of equipment. I still don't feel comfortable even saying that, guys, but I think it is a good rule of thumb is to never have more debt than the percentage of revenue that I suggested here. Just because if stuff starts hitting the fan, one, you can sell some of that equipment and get it off your books, and then the rest you can just write a check for and pay for. So that way you're not in a stuck position there. But debt is one of those things, man. If you want an anchor on your business, I think that's why a lot of guys are struggling this year is because, during COVID, early on money was really cheap and you could take out loans for very, very little interest rates. And it was just like, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. And now it's coming back to, it's like the anchor that, it wasn't that heavy when you started the race. And at the end, it's like slowing you down like crazy. Debt just has a way of weighing you down in your business. And so I try to stick away from that, guys. If you can, that's the way we built Trifecta. And that's the way I like to suggest to people. But again, I'm not a dictator. You are allowed to do whatever you want for your business. I'm just here to help you as much as I can. And hopefully, you guys listen and get something out of it. I'm not the end all be all. I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy with a lot of experience and a lot of things that happen to work. And so I'm trying to share those with you. And it's something I put a lot of time into as a person who is a business coach, consultant, someone who's just here as an aid to you guys. And I want to give a quick shout out to all those guys, the guys that give me the opportunity. And if you're looking for that opportunity, we are trying to launch the second crew group. We really want you to be a part of it. The first call, the interest meeting is going to be free. So if you're interested in joining our crew, which has just been a huge blessing to so many, it's been awesome. Shoot me a DM, shoot us a message on our website, or sign up and we'll get you in there. It's going to be incredible for your business. So we'd love to, but I just want to get on a call with you, talk about it. And super thankful for what God's done there. And hopefully you join, and it's very cheap, $159 a month, and you get a ton of value out of that. So, hopefully this episode, guys, has been super helpful for you. Talking about cash flow management and debt and kind of how to manage some accounts. And, I try to give you these good tidbits and tricks and try to keep it within 15, 20 minutes so you can actually digest it, process it, and then put it into play in your business. So my name's Alex Kirby. I love you. I hope you have a great day. Whatever you're doing out there, keep going, keep growing, keep mowing, and level up that company. I'll see you next time.